Hi friends and family. This is my first video that I'm making. I'm really nervous because I always worry about what other people are going to think of me, but I know that it's time. God has given me a sense of urgency that He really wants me to start telling people something that He gave me, that He wants a lot of other people to know. About 3 years ago, I was making something silly, just a Valentine's decoration for our house. And I was like, yeah, we need something on the wall here. And so I just started putting some paper hearts together and kind of making a collage. And I thought I'll put in the middle of each heart a verse about God's love for each of us. Just a bunch of verses about what God says about His love. And there was one verse that really stuck out to me as I was, pinning it up. It was in 1 John 4:18 and 19. It said, "For perfect love casts out all fear, and if you have fear, it's for fear of punishment. And if you have fear, this means you haven't fully experienced, the full love of God." And so at that moment, I just asked God, I said, Lord, what is this love? Like, what is this love that is so all encompassing that it casts out all fear? Because I always have had a lot of fear in my life, and I get tired of it many times. Like right now, I'm really afraid to make this video. What is this love? And I just started making that prayer every day, like, Lord, show me what is this love. And I'm not going to go through every detail today because I want to get to the most important part that I feel that the Lord is leading, wanting me to tell people. But over the next, I would say the next 3.5 years, the Lord did and showed me a lot of things. And I just started trying, I wanted to grow closer in my relationship with God, just feeling really distant all the time. Even though, I was reading His Word and stuff, I felt like there was more. And so fast forward about 3.5 years, the Lord gave me a dream. I'm almost 40, and I've always had dreams, lots of dreams, but I've never had one like this that was so vivid and so real. It was like I was there, and I knew that I knew that I knew in my soul that it was from the Lord. This was not something from the enemy. It was so full of God's presence and His love. So I want to get to telling you about this dream because it's a message that was not just supposed to be for me, it was supposed to be for everybody. I've been sitting on this since last June, so it's been almost a year already. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't know, is this just for me? Am I supposed to be telling people? And obviously I'm very shy, and I just didn't want to tell people. And I'm like worried about what other people will think of me. So yeah, another reason I'm doing on this video too, I have 5 kids, and I'm just like, I'm finding that I can't, get the time always to tell as many people as I want to tell. So I thought, well, a video will be faster. You can just listen to it on, on your earbuds or whatever. So anyways, so I was having just a normal dream. It was a normal night. And sorry, I'm just getting distracted. I was just having like one of my normal messed up dreams that was full of just, a bunch of nonsense and stuff. And it was all of a sudden, it was like that dream just ended, and I was instantly taken out of that. And I started instantly having a different dream, which has never happened to me before. Or things just like totally shifted and switched. And the Lord started showing me some things that He wanted me to see. He showed me that I was in a van with my husband and a few other family members, and we were driving in this cute little old 70s van, and we were going to go look at a piece of land that supposedly my husband had bought. He likes the thought of owning lots of land one day. And so we were going to go, and and I thought maybe we were going to get groceries or something too. So I was like, just I didn't know where the kids were, all the everybody's kids from the family. I think I just had this impression that they were being babysat and they were being taken care of. And so we were driving along, and as we were going, I noticed it was really interesting because all of a sudden the atmosphere in the van turned from being like, okay, this is a chore that we have to go grocery shopping at, or we're going to go look at this plot of land, to more of like a happy and kind of excited, like we were going to a wedding or something. I noticed that the girls in the van were kind of dressed up like we were going to go to a wedding reception, and I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be something fun. And so we were going along, and then we finally came to this place where Jacob's land was supposed to be, my husband. And so we all looked out and we're like, oh yeah, that's a nice plot of land, a nice field with some, forest around it. But then there was this place in the sky where the clouds kind of opened up and the sun was shining through, and it was really beautiful. But then it started getting like really bright and shining super bright through this place in the clouds. And it started to grow, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, like really big. And we all started pointing out the window, looking up, and we were like, what is that? What is that? We were just like all pointing, and all of a sudden, like the light became so bright, and we all felt the presence and the glory of God just fell on us so strongly that we all started bowing the knee, bending the knee, and we all started praising God and speaking in tongues. And even those who, I wasn't sure, whether they have a relationship with God or not, everybody, it was so powerful that was all that we could do. We couldn't do anything else. That we were bowing the knee, and that was what was happening. And it got so bright in the van that we couldn't even see each other anymore. The presence was just so heavy. And then it started to lift. And then when we opened our eyes, we could see each other again, but the top of the van had come off, but we were yet still being moved along in the spirit or whatever. But we could see everything, and we were no longer on the road anymore, but we were moving through gardens, big, like massive gardens, and it was so beautiful. There were walls everywhere that had like vines and flowers crawling up them, and the walls looked like they had been there for thousands of years, and yet they looked like brand new. And they were just really beautiful, a beautiful color, like almost a terracotta color almost, or adobe maybe, like kind of some of the stuff you see in Mexico. And then, amongst some of these walls, there were places where the walls came together like in four, like a square, and there were these ginormous, ancient, gnarly trees that came and grew up out of them, and they were so huge. It was so beautiful. And there were places where there were gates that opened up into other gardens and other woods and forests, and it was just so big and it was so beautiful. And I got the sense that we were in the outer courts of heaven while we were there. And as we were going along, I began to notice like smells and the air around us, and any of the wildlife that was there, like every bird and every butterfly And this is going to sound very weird, but every molecule of the air was praising God and thanking God and just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, thank you that we get to be here. Thank you for loving us. It was just so beautiful. I didn't even get to see Jesus in this dream yet. The air was full of life. It was freedom. It was so beautiful. And then we came along to a part where we saw another wall. It was even bigger than all the other ones that we had seen, and there was like an opening in the wall, and it looked like a corridor or a place where, you would go down, and I got the impression that there was a gate inside, leading inside to the city of wherever we were. And so our vehicle, or our being moved in the spirit, started to move that direction, and we went into this corridor. And all this time we had heard music. We could hear faint music, and it was joyful, and it was happy, it was fun. And as we were going down this corridor, we noticed that the noise started to get louder. The music was growing, and there was a sense of like excitement in the air, that the Lord wanted me to know. And as we went along farther, we started to see people up on the walls, and some of them were kids, and they were like waving these little flags and stuff, and they were really excited. And the excitement just kept growing as we went down this corridor and seeing more people and hearing more. And it got to the point where the light again, that presence of God started to grow again, and that music kept getting louder. And suddenly the Lord just hit me with a knowing that we were going to the marriage feast. And we were going to go into the city, we were going to go into the gates, and we were going to get to see Jesus. And it was like the moment, when you're at a wedding, and like the groom is standing there at the altar, and he is so ready. He is so excited to finally see his bride, to see her dressed up. And, he knows that she's going to be beautiful. He's been waiting for a long time for her. They both have been waiting for a long time to be together. They've waited their whole lives for this. That was like the feeling that I got, that Jesus is so, 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 so excited to be with his bride. And the joy that he imparted to me during this dream was so incredible, so big and so full, and it just kept growing, that I started to notice my physical body, here on earth, even though I was, sleeping or dreaming or whatever this was. It was getting to the point where I knew that if the Lord didn't pull me out of this dream, I physically was going to die, because the joy of the Lord, the joy of the groom of Jesus was so big. It was so, I can't even describe it. He is so happy. He's so excited to meet his bride. And that's like the main part of this that he wants all of us to get. And I said, Lord, you have to, in my mind, I was like, Lord, you got to pull me out of this dream, because I could feel my body, laying in bed next to my husband was beginning, my blood pressure was going up. The joy was more than my physical body could contain. I don't know if that, I don't know how to explain it. And so as this was growing, and I didn't have a sense of panic or anything. It was absolute, love and peace that I had in this. And right before the dream ended, I looked up, and we had reached the gate, and I don't remember what the gate looked like, but I could see up over the wall, the inner wall, and I saw a ginormous hill. It was very, very big hill, almost like a small mountain, and there were many hills, and I saw the kingdom of God was sitting on top of these hills, and it was massive. It was just huge. And the interesting thing was when I looked inside, it was almost as if it was bigger inside the city or inside heaven, inside the gates, more than it was out where we were. And I don't know, that doesn't make any sense, but it was almost like I was, as we were getting closer, it expanded, not just in view, but in, like, I don't know, it was bigger. And that was when the joy just became so much, and the Lord pulled me out of the dream, and I woke up, and I just, I didn't know what to do. Nothing like this has ever happened before. And I woke my husband up. It was like 3 a.m. or something. And I told him what happened. I said, I saw heaven, and we were going to meet Jesus. And the joy was so incredible. And I just started bawling because the joy and the presence of God just overwhelmed me. It was so then after that, yeah, like I said, I sat on it for a long time, and I didn't tell anybody other than my husband, and a couple of friends at church, that I knew believed in, that the Lord sends dreams to us sometimes. And then I learned also that, this was not too far away or not too long ago. I learned that when you receive words of knowledge from the Lord or messages through dreams and visions, that you should sit on it and digest it for a while, and ask the Lord first, what do you want me, what do you want to be conveyed out of this message? And so I did that, and I feel very strongly now. I've just been feeling this sense of urgency that the Lord has been giving me. Like, it's time. Time is running out. And I want you to tell my people that I am coming back. I am coming back very soon. And I know, a lot of people have said this over years, even back in World War II, everybody said, oh, it's the end times and God is coming back and blah, blah, blah. And that has been said many times. And I don't really care what other people think at this point or what they say. Jesus is coming back, and he's coming back soon. No, nobody knows the day or the hour, like it says in the Bible. And then, he said, I'm coming back for my bride. And he wants us to prepare ourselves. And that can be something as simple as just, even if you're feeling distance, get alone with God someplace and just lay it all out on the table. Lay it out for him, everything. Say, tell him your disappointments. Tell him your struggles of what you're going through. Tell him, even if you're angry at him, tell him what you're frustrated about, why you're angry, and just get it all out on the table, because there is nothing that you can tell him that is going to upset him. There's nothing that you can tell him that's going to make him turn away or not want you. And he is just waiting. He is waiting for his bride to prepare herself, and to grow in a deeper relationship. The Lord says, seek me first, and all of the rest of these things will be given to you as well. So seek first his kingdom, seek first him. And he says he wants to know you. I believe it's John 17, God, right before Jesus dies, he gives this great, sort of a manifesto where he says, the greatest thing here, this is why I came, was that people would know you, Father, that they would know me, and through knowing me, they will know the Father. And so that is, I feel, is the what the Lord has been giving me to say, to people. And yeah, I'm just hoping that this will reach as many people as possible. And you could go online, go on YouTube, and you will find so many so many other videos. There are so many people who are having the same things happening. I've met a few of them now, and are saying very same or similar things, having same or similar dreams, same or similar visions, and that's because the Holy Spirit, is imparting His word. And I believe the reason that this is happening now is, in the Bible it says in two different places. I'm so bad at my references and stuff, but in two different places, in the Old Testament and the New Testament, you can look it up. It says, in the last days, I will pour out my spirit on all people, and I will, give old men dreams, and young men will see visions. And, you can look that up, and look up the rest of that verse for yourself. And I believe that that is what is happening now, because it's just been an unprecedented amount of people who I've been hearing from, who are receiving messages from the Lord, dreams and visions and gifts from the Lord. So get ready, church. Get ready, bride. Get ready, family. Even if it's the first time or you haven't, accepted Christ into your heart, just call out to Him and say, God, if you're real, I need you to show up. I need you to show yourself to me. And He will. He will. He will answer you. I've been in a lot of situations where, I wasn't sure if God really cared. Like, He's there maybe, but does He really pay attention? No, He's there. He's listening. And you call out to Him. He says, I will answer you. I will be found by you. So that's all I have for now. Thanks for listening.